Hello and welcome back to another Cloudisms tutorial. In this tutorial series, my goal is to guide you through the ins and outs of the Mod Organizer 2 program. This series will go in depth and will show each step of the process in an effort to make beginners feel extremely comfortable with this program. If you're looking for something short and concise, I'll post a more condensed tutorial, which will be the first link in the description. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Mod Organizer 2, also known as MO2, is an open-sourced mod manager that's primarily used for modding Bethesda games. MO2 uses a virtual filing system to load mods into your games. One of the clear advantages to this method is that it will leave your game folder completely untouched, allowing for easy troubleshooting and switching between modded or unmodded playthroughs. If you'd like to learn more about the virtual filing system and supported games, please check the links in the description box below. Now, the first step we need to take to install MO2 is to download the Visual C++ libraries. These libraries are used by MO2, so we do need to download them. Head to the link in the description. Within this green or blue box, click the blue download button to get started on the download. Once the file is downloaded, just go ahead and click to open it with whatever archiving tool you're using. You can use 7-zip, WinRAR, NanoZip, whatever is your preference. With the archive open, all I'm going to do is create a folder on my desktop to hold all of these files. I'm just going to call it C, it doesn't really matter. And we're just going to drag and drop all of these into this folder. Okay, now that all of these are extracted, all you need to do is right click on this installall.bat and run it as administrator. This will run a few processes and I'll get back to you once it's done. Alrighty, and now that this is done, we can close out of here and delete this little temporary folder, and we can actually download MO2. The next link in the description will be a link to the Mod Organizer 2 GitHub page. As of today's recording, the latest version of MO2 is version 2.4.4. Find whichever release is the latest. It should be at the top of the page that I've linked, and then just within the latest release, look for the modorganizer.exe of whatever version you'll be downloading. Go ahead and click to download it. And once the download is finished, go ahead and just click on the exe to run the installer. The setup tool will open up. Feel free to read through the license provided by MO2. I'm just going to accept the agreement for the sake of this video. Go ahead and click next, and it'll ask you where you'd like to install Mod Organizer 2. Before you decide where you'd like to install MO2, I recommend you choose what type of instance you'd like to create. Global instance users will likely just want to leave this as its default path, C modding MO2. If you'd like to use a portable instance, I would recommend you be a little bit more organized with your subfolders, naming it after the game or the type of mod list that you're making. For the sake of this tutorial, I will be using a Tale of Two Wastelands mod list, which is based off of Fallout New Vegas. So what I'm going to do is click Browse here to change the destination. And I do have a modding folder on my C drive. If you don't know how to make that, just click on your C drive and make a new folder and then title it modding or whatever you'd like. And then make another folder within modding. And in my case, I'm going to name it after the game I'm playing. So I'm playing Tale of Two Wastelands. You could do Skyrim, you could do Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, anything. Feel free to name it whatever you'd like. And then within this folder, I'm going to make a new folder titled MO2. So this tells me this is where I'm going to have my Tale of Two Wastelands MO2 instance. As I said earlier, if you are going to use a global instance, since you only need to install MO2 once, you could just put it under C modding MO2 like it is at default. So with my destination selected, I'm just going to click OK, and this looks good to me, so we're going to click Next. And then once again, we'll select Next here just to install the recommended components. And finally, we'll click Next here, and I'm also going to create a desktop shortcut. So I'm going to highlight this box and click Next. And you can finalize your selections here. Just make sure everything looks good with what you'd like and click Install. As the installer finishes, you can go ahead and just leave this box highlighted to launch Mod Organizer when you click the Finish button. This is going to prompt you to create your new instance. And as I explained before, since we already know what we'd like to use, just select whichever option you would like to choose. As you can see, with a global instance, your instance data is going to be stored within your C drive user folder under your name. app data local mod organizer, and then it will nicely list each of your different instances. In my case, since I'm going to have a portable separate instance of MO2, which means I need to install MO2 for each instance I'd like to run, I'm going to create a portable instance, and it's going to be within the same folder. So I'm going to select create a portable instance, and it's going to prompt you to select the game you're going to manage. If your game isn't showing up automatically in this list, you probably haven't run it once to generate the INI files it's looking for or the registry edits that it needs to find. And as you can see, I do have TTW in here, which is the game I'm going to be playing. Make sure the path for your game is correct. My game is installed under C, modding, Tale of Two Wastelands, Fallout New Vegas, so I know that is correct. If your game still isn't showing up, feel free to click on Show All Supported Games, and you can search for your game in the filter box here. So I wanted to find Cyberpunk, but it doesn't see my path. I can find it right here. However, it is safer to just run the game, and hopefully it'll find it on its own. Okay, the next step is to select your game, and it will prompt you where you'd like to create your instance folder. So this is where your instance data will all be stored. So that includes your downloads, mods, profiles, and overwrites for your instance. If you'd like to change each of these files individually, you can by clicking Show Advanced Options. I highly recommend that you keep your base directory, mods, profiles, and overwrites on the fastest drive that you can. If you do need to save some space on your faster drive, you can move the downloads folder somewhere else. However, I do recommend that you just leave it at its blank default locations unless you know what you're doing. Since this is where I would like my instance to be stored, I will be clicking Next. It is now going to prompt you to log into Nexus and link MO2 with your Nexus account. So go ahead and just click on Connect to Nexus. This will open a browser, and it's going to prompt you to authorize MO2 through Nexus mods. Simply click Authorized and sign in if you aren't already. It should say you have successfully logged into Mod Organizer 2, so we can close out of this. And as you can see in MO2, it does say linked with Nexus successfully. So I can click Next here. And this is just a wrap up of everything we've done. It says I'm making a portable instance, and the instance itself is located right here. And the game is TTW, and the game location is right here. So all of my paths look correct. I'm going to click Finish. Now that our instance has opened up, Mod Organizer 2 is all here. Now, unless you are an advanced user and you're troubleshooting something specifically, I'm going to recommend that you turn off this log found on the very bottom. To do that, just click View and Log. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do within MO2 is set up your profile. So click on the little identification card here at the top, and we're just going to create a new profile. You can title this whatever you like. I'm just going to title it after the game I'm going to play. So Tale of Two Wastelands. And then click OK to create the profile. You should always check these last two boxes: use profile specific game ini files and automatic archive invalidation. What this bottom toggle does is it allows archives to be overwritten by loose files. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. Just know that you should leave it on. I also highly recommend you use this toggle up here for use profile specific save games. This is very useful for decluttering your save files, and I use this for every single game, every single mod that I manage, just so all of my mod lists can be separated and I don't accidentally load a save with different mods and mess up the save. So with all these toggled, I'm just going to highlight Tale of Two Wastelands and click Select. It's going to tell me that my ini file is read-only. It'll probably do this for every game you play. All you want to do every time it tells you this is to click the drop-down box at the very bottom here, select Remember My Choice, and clear the read-only flag. Now with your profile, one of the settings that we set is that we can use profile-specific inis. MO2 has a built-in ini editor. All you need to do to access it is click these jigsaw pieces at the top and click INI editor. And within here, you can see all of the .ini files for the game that you're playing. So since I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, I have a Fallout.ini, Fallout Prefs. In this game, there's a Fallout custom ini thanks to the mod support. There's custom ini, which you probably won't be using for this game specifically. And there's a couple other options. And the reason this is useful is because it allows a mod organizer to manage these ini files without editing the vanilla files. So this is awesome. Within here, I can change my resolution. I can change a bunch of the different game settings. All of the toggles you'd want to find are found within here. The next thing we're going to do is just open up the settings menu. And within the general tab, I'm going to recommend that you click all three of these options here. Show meta information, compact list, and hide downloads after installation. This third toggle can be a bit of a nuisance if you don't know what it does. Basically, all it's going to do is once you install a mod, it's going to remove it from the download list so it's not cluttering and maybe confusing you. So I recommend you toggle all three of these. The next tab, we can click over to the theme at the top. And if you're not in love with the default theme of MO2, you can change it to your taste. My personal preference is 1809 dark mode, so I'm just going to select this option and click OK. That will change the theme to something much more dark and it's much more pleasing on my eyes. And the final thing we're going to look at here is the Paths tab. And this is another way that you can change any of these paths. Again, I do recommend you keep your mods, profiles, and overwrites within your fastest drive possible. If you do need some more space, you can move the location of your downloads folder. Okay, head to the Nexus tab on the top, and this is just a sanity check. Make sure that you are connected to Nexus. You'll see this little box saying connected if you are, and if you aren't, just click on this Connect to Nexus button. Finally, make sure you do click Associate with Download with Manager Links. Here it'll prompt you to change the handler if you haven't done this already. Just click yes, and it will make it so when you click Mod Manager Download on Nexus Mods, it will download to MO2 rather than something like Vortex or any other mod managers that you have installed. With all that being done, you can just click OK. That ends the first part of this tutorial series. In the next few videos, I'll be explaining how to navigate the UI, how to download and install a mod, how to understand both sides, the left and the right panes of Mod Organizer 2, including the plugin and mod list load orders, as well as an advanced section in the final video to this series. This video would not have been possible without the help of two extraordinary community members. I would like to extend my most sincere thanks to Wall and Vish. Thank you guys for being so friendly, responsive, and patient when answering my questions, and dealing with an extremely long production cycle for this series. If you, the viewer, appreciated this tutorial and would like to support these two individuals, please check the links in the description to see how to support them. Thank you so much for watching, and click the card on screen to access the next part of this tutorial series.